Have you been paying attention? Season 13 Episode 8 was another classic night of laughs, quick wit, and sharp banter as Tom Gleisner returned to the host chair to quiz a panel of Australia's funniest minds on the week's news. This episode was packed with memorable moments, running jokes, and a few surprises, making it a must-watch for fans of the show and anyone who loves a good mix of comedy and current events. If you missed it or just want to relive the best bits, here's a detailed recap and ending explained for HYBPA S13E08. The episode opened with Tom introducing the night's panel, which included regulars Ed Cavalier and Sam Pang, plus the always hilarious Kitty Flanagan, Guy Montgomery, and special guest Urzila Carlson, who was fresh from a sellout tour of the United States. The energy was high from the start, with the audience cheering and the panelists immediately launching into their trademark banter. Tom wasted no time in poking fun at the guests, and the panelists were quick to return the favor, setting the tone for a night of non-stop laughs. Urzila's return was a highlight, with Tom welcoming her back and asking about her recent travels. She shared a funny story about losing her bag both on the way to and from the US, joking that it's the only time you buy new undies. The panel riffed on this, and it was clear that the chemistry between the guests was as strong as ever. Guy Montgomery was congratulated on his Logie nomination, and the panel had a field day with the idea of him being a big deal in Australia, with jokes about writing his own headlines for the New Zealand media. Kitty Flanagan was also in the spotlight, with Tom mentioning her multiple Logie nominations and her early days on the project. Kitty joked about being responsible for the show almost being cancelled, and the panel reminisced about some of the more infamous moments from her career. The banter was fast and funny, with everyone getting in on the act and the audience loving every minute. As always, the show quickly moved into the quiz, with Tom firing off questions about the week's news. The panelists responded with a mix of serious answers and hilarious one-liners, often taking the conversation in unexpected directions. For example, when asked about a $1 million waste of ABC money, the panel joked about spelling bees and legal fees, before finally landing on the correct answer: Antoinette Lattiff's unfair dismissal claim. The judges awarded points for correct answers, but the real reward was the laughter from the audience and the panel. One of the standout moments came when Tom asked about Donald Trump doing something no U.S. president had ever done on television. The panel joked about The Apprentice and beat poetry before Guy Montgomery correctly answered that Trump had dropped the F-bomb on air. The show played the clip, and the panel had a field day with the idea of a president swearing on live TV. This led to more jokes about moonless nights, Neil Young lyrics, and even a classic prostate exam, with the panel riffing off each other's answers in classic HYBPA style. The show also featured a running joke about the word daddy, with the panel trying to figure out why everyone was saying it. It turned out that the head of NATO had called Trump daddy, and the panel couldn't resist making jokes about it. This kind of playful banter is what makes HYBPA so much fun to watch, as the panelists take even the most serious news stories and find the humor in them. Another highlight was the discussion of a Japanese missile launch, with the panel joking about Windows 95 screensavers, whale research, and Pokemon. Urzila eventually got the correct answer, and the panel moved on to Kim Jong-un attending the opening of a beach resort, which led to more jokes about North Korean audiences and punctuality. The panel's ability to find comedy in any news story is a testament to their quick wit and comedic timing. The episode also included a special guest segment with Trisha Paylucho, who was in Australia playing Dolly Parton in the musical Here You Come Again. Trisha charmed the panel with stories about the show, her love of Dolly Parton, and even sang a few bars of Jolene for Kitty Flanagan, whose red hair inspired the performance. The panel couldn't resist making jokes about Dolly's songwriting speed, with Sam Pang suggesting she should have done a second draft of I Will Always Love You and Jolene, both of which Dolly famously wrote in one night. Trisha took it all in stride, and the segment was a fun break from the usual quiz format. The show's signature segments were also on full display, including the Pierce This challenge in honor of National Piercing Day. Tom quizzed the panel on celebrity piercings, body modification enthusiasts, and piercing aftercare, with plenty of jokes about crusties, licking piercings, and vertical medusas. The panel struggled to get the correct answers, but the laughs kept coming, and the segment was a hit with the audience. Other memorable moments included a discussion of the latest TikTok trend, the fridge cigarette, which turned out to be taking a break to drink a cold can of something from the fridge. The panel joked about new flavors of gelato and the joys of a cold Diet Coke, with Ed Cavalier eventually getting the correct answer. There was also a segment on animal news, with questions about an Alaskan brown bear undergoing dental surgery, and a Norwegian tourist being deported from the US for having a meme of J.D. Vance as a baby on his phone. The sports segment was another highlight, with questions about the Matildas' big win over Slovenia, Sam Kerr's return to training, and Australian runner Gout Gout breaking his own 200-meter record. The panel couldn't resist making jokes about Gout Gout's name, comparing it to a swimmer called Drown Drown. There was also a hilarious moment when a local footy game was interrupted by a seagull getting hit by the ball, and the panel had a field day with the footage. The show wrapped up with the rapid recall round, where Tom fired off quick questions about the week's news. The panel answered questions about Princess Diana's dress selling for $800,000, Hugh Jackman's divorce, the addition of the word gunzel to the Oxford English Dictionary, and Neil Young refusing to do a live stream at Glastonbury. There were also questions about a New Zealand herpes awareness ad winning an award at Cannes, the death of Deputy Cletus Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard, and Mel Brooks turning 99. In the end, it was Urzila Carlson who took out the win, much to the delight of the audience and her fellow panelists. Tom congratulated her and thanked everyone for being part of the show, before signing off with a reminder to pay attention to your pronunciation on live TV, referencing a news clip where someone said, "Annals of American History," instead of annals. The episode ended with the usual cheers and applause, leaving viewers eagerly awaiting the next installment. Have you been paying attention? Season 13 Episode 8 was a perfect example of why the show has become such a beloved part of Australian television. The mix of news, comedy, and quick-witted banter keeps viewers entertained from start to finish, and the chemistry between the panelists is second to none. Whether you're a regular viewer or tuning in for the first time, this episode had something for everyone. Celebrity guests, hilarious jokes, and a reminder that even the most serious news stories can be a source of laughter. If you're looking for a show that will make you laugh, keep you up to date on the news, and leave you with a smile on your face, Have You Been Paying Attention? Is the perfect choice. Season 13 Episode 8 was a standout episode, and with the talent on display, it's clear that the show will continue to be a favorite for years to come.